Taking a full look at weather now, Weather Authority Chief Meteorologist Dan Cianca telling you know a little bit about the history when it comes to Limekiln, you were saying.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, we're talking about Limekiln State Park. I love that. It's a tiny little park kind of just nestled along the coast there. I visited quite a few times. It's this like little canyon full of redwoods. There's a big waterfall there, and there's some old lime kilns. So these are structures built, they're kind of like ovens, think of it that way, where they would build a big fire in that, and then they would basically cook the rocks, the limestone rocks, to help get some of the lime out of there. So they use the lime to help build, like, I want to say cement or concrete. It's one of those two things. The reason they built all that was because, obviously, in the early 1900s, there was a major earthquake, and the city of San Francisco and other areas needed rebuilding and needed a lot of concrete and things to rebuild with. So
fun fact for you tonight.
I remember reading the little console there. It's a beautiful little area. Now you have to go all the way from the south to get there, but it's certainly worth checking out at some point in time if you get a chance.
Will do.
Yeah. All right, let's take a live look from Domenico's on the wharf in Monterey tonight. It almost looks like we have filtered sunshine coming through. We do still have some low cloud cover out there, but there's some sun filtering through, so nothing too crazy out there. Not quite as gloomy as yesterday, certainly. Our bigger picture will reveal that we don't really have a major weather system sitting over us right now. We have high pressure off to the southeast and low pressure off to the northwest. And in between, there's some monsoonal moisture. It's been creating thunderstorms anywhere from Arizona up through Utah, up into portions of the northern plains today, and even as west as the Great Basin. But even the Sierra Nevada, pretty quiet today. Most of the Golden State, pretty quiet. We have the marine layer on the coast, and that's about it. This trough of low pressure offshore right here. The center of it's here, but it's really kind of wavy and just overall troughiness, which has allowed our marine layer to stay fairly deep and our temperatures to stay cool. Our inland highs were below normal today for the first time in quite some time. Futurecast is going to show those clouds returning tonight. The marine layer is still there, even though we've seen a little bit more sunshine poking through today. The clouds are not always present within the layer, but at the moment we have just kind of partial cloud cover. And once the temperature within the layer cools off enough, the clouds will redevelop, and that will be around the bay and into the interior valleys. As far as drizzle is concerned, we had quite a bit of it this morning, even bordering on light rain at times on the south side of the bay. We will see some patchy drizzle, I think, tonight, but certainly not to the extent that we saw last night. The reason being, last night the marine layer was rapidly deepening, and it's usually that deepening process that does tend to squeeze the precipitation out of the layer. And right now, I think the layer is going to kind of hold steady overnight. It's going to be deep enough to make a little bit of drizzle, but just not to the point where we're going to see any major issues through tomorrow morning. With that said, still could see some wet patches on the roadways on the way out the door, with patchy fog on the coastal mountains. Of course, watch Erica from 5 to 7 before you head out the door tomorrow morning. She'll get you those latest road conditions so you know what you're expecting when you head out the door. Futurecast tomorrow showing low clouds on the south and east sides of the bay. We will see some sunshine on the north side of the bay, so Santa Cruz will be sunny. Then tomorrow night, the clouds once again thicken back up. We're in our daily summer cycle of low clouds here for the next couple of days. There are some changes this weekend, which we'll get into in a moment, but tomorrow's temperature is remaining a bit cool for this time of year on the coast. And we'll still make the 70s in Santa Cruz and upper 60s in Capitola and make the low 80s in Boulder Creek, but that's about as warm as it's going to get in Santa Cruz County tomorrow, 81 degrees or so. Over to the south and east, Watsonville right around 70, staying in the 60s on the southeast side of the bay. Salinas close to 70. We'll get to the mid 70s in Hollister and not even get out of the 70s in the Santa Clara Valley tomorrow. Over to the Monterey Peninsula, mid 60s in Monterey, slightly below normal temperatures. Could see a little sunshine poking through, but we're mostly cloudy tomorrow on the peninsula. And then farther south, comfortable temps nearest the coast with low 70s in Carmel Valley and Big Sur and Gonzales and even Soledad, but we'll warm up to the upper 70s in King City and upper 80s as you head farther south. Looking at that 7-day forecast for coastal cities, warming slowly Friday and Saturday. And just some of the latest model runs showing some big time warming on Sunday, which is interesting because I was looking at maybe the potential for some offshore winds, or at least just some northerly winds, nothing strong, late Saturday into Sunday, which could lead to a big warm up. So Sunday's trending warmer. We might actually have to go higher on that Sunday number. So keep an eye on that. That could make things kind of toasty on the coast on Sunday. We're keeping an eye on that for you. Beyond that, the clouds return and cooler temperatures will arrive next week, at least seasonable temperatures, but cooler than the weekend, certainly. Inland temps, also kind of an incremental warm up here for the next couple of days, peaking on Sunday with that potentially light offshore event, and then going back the other way into midweek next week. Veronica.
Sounds great. Thank you, Dan.